Azur Lane is a mega popular side-scrolling shooter gacha game played by men of culture around the world, and Dead or Alive Extreme Venus Vacation is the 5th game in the controversial fanservice spin-off series of the long-running Dead or Alive fighting franchise. And back in 2020, Azur Lane and Koei Tecmo did a collaboration event wherein 7 DOA girls made it into Azur Lane's cast of ship girls, along with summer-themed skins, a handful of exclusive event items, and a volleyball scrimmage QuickTime minigame. The event was popular among fans and made enough money to fund a small country, but the licensing requirements for such a collaboration made it unlikely that this event featuring DOA ship girls and other bonuses would ever appear again. Until now, as it was just announced that the Venus Vacation Azur Lane collaboration event will be rerun beginning April 27th. Do I care? Not really. But it did bring to mind the never-ending string of controversies that have faced the Dead or Alive Extreme series ever since it first dropped 20 years ago. You see, back in the early 2000s, an intellectual at Tecmo had a brilliant idea. Take the female characters from the Dead or Alive series, send them to a tropical resort, have them participate in various beach-themed activities, and slam the babonga pedal so hard that it snaps off. Not only did 2003's Extreme Beach Volleyball delight the world's discerning physics engine connoisseurs, but it was actually a solid game that netted a 73 out of 100 score on Metacritic. However, one does not simply take a sophisticated product about scantily clad volleyball girls being moe and stuff to the West without expecting to take a few lumps. And sure enough, DOA was a controversy magnet from the get-go. Basically, while 360,000 North Americans snapped it up like thirsty desert beasts, a bunch of other people claimed that it objectified women and reinforced harmful stereotypes. GameSpot labeled it the most embarrassing game of 2003, etc, etc. But 20 years ago, long before the worldwide waifu economy was vacuuming dollars out of pockets across borders, there was nothing that really hit quite like Extreme Beach Volleyball in the West. And the game succeeded at carving out a name for itself in the lock the door in case mom walks in niche. Then, one Electronic Gaming Monthly ran a DOA Extreme Beach Volleyball topless mode exposed April Fool's Day joke that created chaos across message boards around the globe, and two, the savants at game mod site ninjahacker.net blew up the internet and themselves by making the joke into a reality. Ninja Hacker's custom DOA birthday suit skins were the deepfakes before deepfakes, but Tecmo wasn't having any of it and sued Ninja Hacker, ultimately shutting down the website. A true slap to the jowls of parched teenagers, digital rights activists, and modding enthusiasts. Although protecting the integrity of their characters was probably the reasonable thing to do, the attack was seen as one of those big evil company squashes small guy moves that just about everyone hates to see. But in somewhat of an ironic twist, the Extreme series itself would become the victim of a nudity crackdown some years later. Fast forward to 2006, when DOA X2 introduced independent melon physics. Actually, fast forward a bit more, to the late 2010s when the hardworking team at Sony's Department of Melon Investigation started cracking down on suggestive content in the games available on their platforms. As expected, the new policies were a baseball bat to the knees of many small developers operating in the waifu economy sector, but the campaign also forced the hands of bigger studios to make various changes to their games. And the long and short of it is that two fairly dubious items were cut from the PlayStation 4 version of Dead or Alive Extreme 3 Scarlet Edition: the gold fan and the softening gel. Neither of these items do things you'd want to bring up at the family dinner table, but their exclusion from the game added fuel to the fire in the freedom of expression in video games debate. And I suppose it is somewhat hypocritical that Sony would get so squeamish about the gel, but not take issue with a Resident Evil character cleaving off the upper half of a police officer's head with a shovel. Not to mention that, strangely enough, the controversial items actually did make it into the Nintendo Switch version, probably making it the superior version of the game, depending on your superiority criteria. But at this point, fans of the series in the West had already lost the battle, as no version of DOA X3 ever made it outside of Asia. And one fan poking at the Dead or Alive Facebook page actually got a Koei Tecmo representative to give us an answer as to why. We're not bringing DOA X3 to the West and don't have any plans for that to change in the future. Do you know about the many issues occurring in the video game industry with regard to how females in the video game industry are treated? We don't want to talk about those things here, but we have certainly gone gone through some things in the last year or two to come to our decision. Perhaps the broader zeitgeist of the West has shifted against games like DOA X over the past 20 years, but given the rise of the worldwide waifu economy and the historic sales of DOA X 1 and 2 in North America and Europe relative to Japan, I do wonder what really happened. Maybe the brain hemorrhaging around the controversial VR Paradise update did scare them into a hasty retreat. Maybe new policies at the western branches of major platforms shut the localization down. Or maybe it just didn't make sense from a return on investment perspective. But in any event, love it or hate it, the DOA X series has been a flaming debate magnet since 2003. And in a world wherein both independent melon physics and different opinions about those physics exist, the string of controversies will surely never end. But for now, enjoy some fun in the sun with the Venus Vacation Azure Lane collaboration event, and would someone please fix my Xbox?